And I am live. We're going to go post a link. If you're logging in or if you're wandering the internet and thinking, what? And you're thinking, wait, this guy has this perfect solution for me. Just know these are live broadcasts. Nothing ever gets edited on them. And so you're going to see all sorts of crazy stuff. Most importantly, we'll start the class here in about 4 minutes. So if you want to fast forward through me babbling and waiting for people to get logged in and set up, you can do that. Just fast forward on the video for about 4 or 5 minutes and you'll get to the start of the class. If otherwise, you can sit here and watch me post the link on our website. If you don't know about our website, it's jollyrogerukulele.com, and that's where you'll find all of the resources that we play with, and where you will find all of the what else should I tell you about? That's all the resources, all the information on our program, blah blah blah, and it's a great resource for sheet music and all that stuff. So you can swing by there and pick it up. I have a lady who's new, who doesn't know where to find my link, so I'm gonna hit paste and send that to her. And then I'm going to close out all this emails, and I'm going to slide back over here, see how we're looking. I need a light. I didn't adjust the camera. No. Let's see. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Joyce. Hey, Sandy. Hey, Renee. Our 4 A students checking in. I didn't adjust the camera today, so I'm looking kind of pink. It's fine. I am kind of pink. Let's see. I'm getting text messages. Okay. Oh, okay. Almost stable. I like it when I tell people, this is what's going on with the schedule, and they're like, okay. And I don't know if that means that they agree or disagree or what. So, hey, Gail, come on in. Let's see. Marie, is Gary there? Or is it just you? Or is it just Gary? We never know for sure. Let's see. Who's this? Okay. All right. So there's that. There's that. I'll move this microphone and destroy your speakers at your house. Guys, we're going to be playing from this guy today. So you may or may not want to print that out. It prints out as a little book. We'll talk about how to print it out correctly. But you should have gotten that out. The resources, jollyrogerukulele.com. And who else is logged in? Burke is on board. Burke, where were you yesterday? Michael, how are you? Lindy, good to be here. Pauline, joining in. Terry from beautiful downtown Denver. Joyce, don't forget to like. Oh, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I don't know, what else are you supposed to do? Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I go live. What other YouTube things can we do? Let's see. Hopefully the sound is good. Let me see. That's my speaker. That's my microphone. Speakers are down here. I have actually years and years ago, we have this giveaway table at our condominium, and people come down on 2 sides on the giveaway table. Half the people in the building think it is the greatest thing ever, and the other half of the people in the building think it is the worst thing, that we would have something so stupid. And but basically every one of us has found some little treasure on this table to take home. And years ago, somebody put on some studio monitors that are actually really beautiful sounding studio monitors on that table. So I have these old Alesis studio monitors that are really fine speakers that I use to here in the studio, and it's about the only thing here. Everything I own is all old technology, but they're about the only thing that have been pretty consistently working on through this whole time. So I should probably not even talk about them. They'll figure out that I'm being kind to some of my technology, and they'll give up. That one of them will catch on fire or something. Let's see. Who else is joining in here? I already said. Joining you, Pauline. You are joining us today. Christine, hello. Red, how are you? Gary, Gary and Diane in from Vancouver. Hi, Diane. Have we met you before? I can't remember. I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry you're hanging out with Gary. He's trouble, but I'm glad you're here. Phyllis in from Richmond Hills. Good to see you. Marie, just Marie today. Oh, your buddy didn't hang in there, huh? Well, but she'll be back, hopefully, right? Let's see. Patty and Tom are there. Jana is in from Texas. Jackie, Carol, hi everybody. So, yeah, we'll start here. Let's do one more minute and then we'll get going. I keep making all these noises on my microphones, and I apologize, guys. I know what that does to your speakers at home. I should probably double check that I am tuned up. By the way, if you are just a casual observer, not logged into Google, and so you can't comment or participate in chat, that's perfectly fine, right? I love it when you participate in chat, just so I get to know a little bit about, well, maybe where you're from and that you're actively involved in what we're doing. But you don't have to. It's not a requirement. And but I think it's more fun. We stop in and say, "Hey, I'm Brandon," and we say, "Hey, Brandon." Let's see. Evelyn, are you serious? Are you really in Ecuador, Evelyn? Oh my gosh, how exciting! How exciting! I just sent you the link to this, Evelyn. We're going to talk Ecuador one of these days. Well, a couple of you remember how we were all. Well, let's put it this way. Sometimes you won't need to feel like you want to live someplace else. And I started searching the world for great places to live. And Quito, Ecuador came up. And it looks beautiful. 8,000 feet above sea level, which is Denver's 5,000. So I'm used to the heights, but it's close to the equator. So every single day it's perfect weather. So I have always thought maybe I'll move to Quito someday. Quito. I don't know. Anyway, it's in Ecuador. Then I heard Ecuador was an iffy place to live. So I don't know. We'll talk, Evelyn. Let's see. Fran is in someplace almost as beautiful, which is New Jersey. Linda's in. Brandon snuck in. I was just, let's see. Marilyn Q from San Jose. There's a comedian. What's her name? Angela Johnson. She's from San Jose, and she did a special, and she says, she's kind of one of these. Well, she was a Los Angeles Raider cheerleader for a while, and then she's also Hispanic, so she does a lot of Latin jokes, and she made a big deal about being from San Jose. So, let's see. Barbara is here. Christine's here. Evelyn. Cuenca is there. Okay. Of course it is. That's where you live. All right. We won't get into little competing Ecuadorian towns. I'm absolutely delighted that you're here, Evelyn. We get different people, world travelers in from time to time. And it's just exciting to have all of you guys from Canada. A bunch of you are from Canada. We got a couple people logging in from Europe, and we got at least one person logging in from Australia from time to time, and Valerie's in from Chicago. You talk about another worldly place. I was in Chicago one time. It was freezing, and I'm not likely to rush back, but it's probably fine. And when the rain isn't going horizontal, that's probably Chicago's probably awesome. So, all right, kids, it's 1:06. Let's get going. This is the piece of paper that you should have downloaded. At least have it open in the other screen, and then we're also going to be tackling Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik today. I am going to take a butcher knife to that today and let you guys know some of the stuff that's going to happen to that. And I want you to walk out of here today with two thoughts in mind. Number one, I am going to be the best person at singing and strumming ever. And number two, I am going to beat Mozart. Those are the two thoughts we're after today. So first off, this one. This little booklet is what I use here in Denver to get people started. This is a day one book that when I teach a group class, this is handed out on day one. And I used to do what all the other ukulele teachers do, which is start you off with C, A minor, F, and G. Right? That's what I used to do. C, A minor, F, and G. And if you bought a ukulele, pretty good chance the little booklet that came with your ukulele starts you off with C, A minor, F, and G. That's wonderful, except for G chord. And G chord is a misery on the first day. You shouldn't have to deal with G chord on the first day. And so I switched to going from using A, D, and E7. And life is so much better because your hands actually fall more naturally into those positions. And so those of you who are teachers or those of you who have your own small groups out there and you've got somebody new coming around, just have one of these little books with you and just keep it in your system, keep it around with you and say, here, this is what we're going to start with. Now, if they're not from the United States, the chances of them knowing all these songs are pretty small. But if they are, they're going to probably know all of these songs. The only people who don't know these songs are little kids, and little kids are growing up with Disney and they don't know these songs. So you get the opportunity to teach it to them. Most of them have not heard of I've Been Working on the Railroad or Clementine or this type of stuff. And so you get to provide this continuity of Americana by teaching them the songs in this book. Now, if you're older and you're from America, you know these songs. And if you're not from America, this is Americana. This is what we used to teach everybody. Everybody used to know these songs. Now, very specific way I like to approach this book is you're going to make your first chord. It's an A chord, index finger on the third string, first fret, middle finger on the top string, second fret. Okay. And by the way, this, of course, we're doing this after I've taught Frere Jacques. I spend the first 15, 20 minutes teaching Frere Jacques, and then I like to turn to this book to make sure they've got something to also strum at home. Now, that sounds beautiful. Oh, it's nice in Chicago today. Good. It's too hot here in Colorado. We've been way above normal for the last week, and it's making me nervous. So this is your first chord. And by the way, that's the same chord as on Frere Jacques, right? So look at how smart I am combining those two ideas. Okay, so here we go. Now, when we learned Frere Jacques 2 days ago, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's how we play it. Now we're going to do this, okay? And I just want you to do your thumb down. 1, 2, ready, play. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. The important thing when we are teaching new people about strumming is that they need to keep the beat steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter what happens in the melody, no matter what's going on with the rest of the song, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keeping it steady so that way the singer knows exactly where they are. When a lot of times people will say, hey, I've had a ukulele for a while. I'm really struggling with singing and strumming. And it's because they're trying to strum at the speed of the music. And you'll hear them saying, morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. And that's not what we do. And that's not what you want to do. You want to just do morning bells are ringing. Just keep your strumming steady. And yeah, you can do down, up, and all that other nonsense that the other places talk about. But all that really matters is that you're keeping the beat steady when you are strumming. Okay. Next thing I do is I want to teach, if they're kids, we move on to Three Blind Mice. If they're adults, we move on to these 4 fingers, these 4 strings, thumb, index, middle, ring. Make sure it's on an angle going this way. You don't want them all stacked up on top of each other. You want them like this. Okay. And then we're just going to hold the chord, still holding the chord, pluck, 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 pluck. Well, I get everybody plucking like this. I go around, I double check everybody's thumb. I make sure they got the right A chord on. Okay. Right now I'm checking all you guys out and y'all look good. Okay. And then I do the next verse on the paper. Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Okay. And those of you guys who've been around a while, you know exactly my plan here. If I can get them holding this like this and plucking it this way instead of strumming, Now I've got them set up to do arpeggio picking, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, so that's what I'm gonna. I don't do that the first night, but I do get their hand in this position to get you ready for that. Okay, so hopefully your hand is in this position, and since this is YouTube, and most of you guys have been kind of following me around, wondering what the heck's going on here. Let's just go ahead and give it a try. So it's thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. Yep, Phyllis, hit all the strings. Okay, when you're for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bozeman in the house. Just saw you in, Vicky. Good to see you. 2, 3, 4. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? Okay, now we get to the heart of instrumental ukulele. Even though we're singing, we're still using the instrument at the next level to make us sound better than just 3 blind mice. That's what gets taught everywhere, and that's fine. But what we really want is to take this piece of wood and wires and turn it into something that's augmenting what we're doing, not just being background filler. And by grabbing your arpeggio pattern and whatever chord you're happening to be playing, you automatically sound much more sophisticated as a player. And you can go watch any video of any popular guitar player, singer, songwriter type person, and almost always they're just doing something pretty basic with their left hand and doing something a little bit more sophisticated with their right hand, and it makes them sound much better. And so when you go watch a video of somebody playing a guitar or ukulele or anything, oftentimes, if it's a singer, they're doing some very minimal amount of work here and a whole lot of fancy work over here. Dolly Parton is the perfect example of that. She got those big old long fingernails, and so she can't do a ton of fancy stuff with this hand, so she does everything fancy on this hand, and it works out really well. All right, so you've got A chord down, you've got some rhythm down, we've tried strumming just with our thumb, we've tried plucking all 4 strings with this hand, and then we've also tried dividing that up. Okay, so we've got lots of different ways to play one chord. Okay, now next page. By the way, when you print this out, you want to print it out short edge binding. Otherwise, and double-sided short edge binding. If you do anything else, every other page will be upside down. Okay, so I always tell people that, and they always say it came out upside down. And I'm like, I know, you didn't do what I told you to do. Okay, D chord, index, middle, ring. If you're having a hard time getting your fingers into that little space, you probably have too small of the ukulele. I have a concert-sized ukulele right now. My hands are barely fitting in there. I've been doing this a while, so I know how to kind of compensate for that. But when you're new, if your fingers are too big, it's going to have a hard time fitting in there. And you may consider upgrading your ukulele to the bigger size. Probably need a tenor if you're fighting that. Okay, and then so we talk about that. Okay. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now row your boats in 6. Okay, so we're going to actually do 3 strums for each of the rows. Okay, it's going to feel slow at first. So let's pick it up. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. 2, 3, 4. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand stand up and rock the boat. Oh, that's a big mistake. Let's do it again. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand up and rock the boat. Oh, that's a big mistake. Okay, so 3 different strum patterns. One is just down, 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 down. You can do down, down, up, or all the stuff they teach you on the singing and strumming sites. And so all that's fun to do. But the sooner you get into arpeggio picking, the sooner you're going to be really pushing the limits of what's cool in instrumental music and what you can do on this instrument. It's that next level up. Okay, so now you've learned A chord and you've now learned D chord. Here's where things get really, when we start talking about being smart about changing chords. When you first start, you have a hard time changing chords at enough speed. So you start to micromanage your chord changes. Okay, if I'm on D to get to E7, I slide this finger back and then I drop this finger. Okay, so I'm on D, slide back, drop down. Now I'm on E7. By the way, those of you who've tried to teach other people to play ukulele, imagine that, right? This is the thing I got to do to get to the 7th chord. Bunk, blunk. There, I'm there. As opposed to with C, F, and G, you go, all right, now you're on F. Now you've got to get all the way over here to G, right? And they're like, I don't like G. And you're like, shut up. And so that's why we don't start with the C chord. Okay, it's a recipe for sadness when they get there. Okay, start with A chord, then teach them D chord. They grumble at it's hard to fit everybody in, and then teach them E chord. Okay, all right. So let's do. We did a D chord one. I'm going to do Lime in the Coconut because it's hilarious. Okay, it's a modified version of Lime in the Coconut, but it's basically the idea. Henry wrote it in C7. We were going to play it in E7. So index finger on top, middle, and ring. That's what you want to get there. Okay. When I teach little kids this, you see down on bottom of page 2, it says doctor, 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 and I have them in bold. And I tell little kids when I'm teaching them this, I say, when we get to doctor, you have to scream doctor. You have to scream as loud as you can. And they always comply and you get there. And then this becomes their favorite song. This is the greatest song ever written because you get to scream doctor in the middle of it. So let's run through it real quick. You may not have ever heard it. Okay. My brother bought a coconut, he bought it for a dime. My sister had another one and spent it on a lime. You put the lime in the coconut, shake it all up. You put the lime in the coconut, drink it all up. You put the lime in the coconut and then you'll perk on up. Called the doctor, woke him up, and here is what I said. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this belly ache. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? You put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both together. Lime in the coconut and then you'll feel much better. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Okay, that's how I teach that, right? And then but usually when I say slow down, I have forgotten to tell them about the tremolo at the end. And so I get to slow down and go, oh, wait, I forgot to teach you something. And then they're all like, because they can't finish the song. So how you do tremolo, this is something that I don't know if you got taught or not. You need to know how to do it. Palm open, index finger bent over, okay? The reason you want your palm over is it's going to counterbalance the weight as you're going as fast as you possibly can. So this is tremolo pose, okay? And in my book here, in the little book, every time there's 2 asterisks, that means you should play a tremolo, okay? So you're holding the E7 chord. You got your thing on. You're going to go down, up, Now, don't go from your elbow. Don't try to do this because you'll go too slow. You want to go from your wrist like you're twisting a doorknob or trying to shake oil off, right? Okay, and start it slow. And then, okay, there's that. And then, okay, you stop, raise your hand up, and then come back down on all the strings as you brush out all 4 fingers. And that's your Eddie Van Halen rock and roll hardcore finish, right? That's it. Okay. So when you go to your ukulele strum along in your neighborhood, or if you don't have one yet, you should start one. And you can start it with this book, by the way. Teach them about the tremolo, right? Every song, our local strum along here over at Swallow Hill, I don't know if they still do. We always used to finish every single song with a tremolo, every single one, even like these sensitive, beautiful ballads you end and you're like, whatever, Hotel California, whatever. So it's silly, but that's something ukulele players like to do. Now, once you've gotten there, you've taught them A chord, you've got them D chord, you can cut them E7 chord. That's everything you need to know for the book. There is 2 songs in here that have the F sharp minor chord in them. One is La Vie en Rose. Nobody ever knows that song. And the other one, I can't remember what the other one is. It's Kookaburra, I think, is in here. People have no problem once they've learned A, D, and E7. They have no problem with doing the F sharp minor shape. And so I don't really ever teach it. The other thing is this book comes apart on purpose so that you can have them set their chords on one page, just set them chords sitting here, and then they can put whatever song you want to work on there. The other thing about this book is that the headlines mean something. So if the headline is red, it's a 1-chord song, okay? And I teach these first 2 pages over and over and over because that teaches them how to hold those chords, okay? The second thing then I look for in here are green headlines. Those green headlines are 2-chord songs. So 5 Little Monkeys, Hokey Pokey, Hush Little Baby. I almost always do, when I go to the 2-chord song, we almost always do London Bridges. So jump over to page 10. Vive la compagnie. It's in French. Go to page 10 for me. And we're going to run through this real quick. On page 10, you have London Bridges Falling Down. Okay. And the 2 chords you're going to use are A chord, bum, 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 bum. And then we talk about, all right, before we were talking about you're on D, how do you get to E7? Now we're going to talk about A getting to E7. A chord to get to E7, you drop your middle finger, raise your index finger, and add your ring finger. And now I'm at E7. To get back, boom, boom, go away. Okay, so that's it. By the way, London Bridges, and the last verse we usually say, take the key and lock her up, take the key and lock her up. And I decided that was not good. So I decided to take the key and have some tea, which I think sounds much more British. You are allowed to rewrite popular tunes with better lyrics. Most of the songs, not most, too many of the songs that I end up teaching from the olden times have lyrics that make no sense or are rude or awful in some ways. And so we throw out the old lyrics and create better lyrics. And in this case, I have hit a home run, and you should do this exactly like I wrote. Hey, take the key and have some tea is so much more English. Let's go from the top. Pick your strum pattern. If you want to do plucks, if you want to do strums, okay. If you want to do arpeggios is the tougher one, right? And if you want to take your index finger down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, you can do that. Whatever makes you happy. There's no rules with strum patterns. 1, 2, here we go. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Build it up with silver and gold, silver and gold, silver and gold. Build it up with silver and gold, my fair lady. Take the key and have some tea, have some tea, have some tea. take the key and have some tea, my fair lady. If you want, right? So all of the ones with green headlines are 2-chord songs, and those are real good to just help people get used to switching back and forth. Hopefully that's going smoothly for you. If it's not, slow it down, right? Slow it down until it does go smooth, and then you can pick up the pace again. The ones with blue headlines have 3 chords in them, almost always A, D, and E7. Well, I guess I should say always A, D, and E7 because those are your only 3 chords. So those are the blue headline ones. Tend to be a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more fun to play. And then the purple headlines, Viva la Compagnie and Compagnia is how Joyce thinks we should write it. She's probably right. And I think Kookaburra has 4. Yeah, Kookaburra has all 4 of the chords in there. Kookaburra is a fun one to do. If you don't know the tunes, go to YouTube. It'll help you out. Someday I'm going to record these with this. I have Anna Englander coming down here tomorrow. I'm going to truck her into singing all these songs with me because you just heard me sing and it's not good. Okay, so that's what this little book is for. Again, as instrumentalists, we know there's this strumming and singing thing, which is 95% of ukulele education for the last 15 years. It's a little bit overwhelming how much of that just the same thing is going on and on and on. As instrumentalists, you're going to hit those same chords over here, but you're going to change it up by making your right hand be smarter and doing something more interesting than down, down, up, down, up. Okay, try to be thinking about, I want to bring something smarter to it, and that's why I like this to be part of what you do. I'm not against singing and strumming. I'm just for strumming in a much more sophisticated way, which is probably not strumming at all. And I like to put that out as one of those things that I will teach you. I'll teach you the proper strum pattern, and it's no strumming whatsoever. And then people get all antsy that I'm teaching them some sort of communist ideology. And all I'm doing is trying to make you, when I go sit in a strum along, which I don't do very often anymore, but the last few times I did, I'm there just arpeggiating the heck out of everything. And invariably there's somebody sitting next to me going, and they usually say, man, your ukulele sounds really good. And I'm like, I know it's a really nice ukulele, and that's not it at all. It's not the ukulele. It's me doing something cool with the ukulele, and I want you to be that person out in life. Okay, let's see. Where do I find this songbook? You are going to go to jollyrogerukulele.com. That is a perfect segue into our website discussion. jollyrogerukulele.com. That's where I'm posting everything about what we do here. Some of you guys are now experts at jollyrogerukulele.com. I threw that website together in such a hurry that it's still an evolving mess, but we're going to get it cleaned up and get it better. On the front page, of course, is our weekly schedule, and so I would be checking that on a regular basis. I try to update that every single day with what the latest news is. There is an archive page on there, so if you miss a lesson, come back and check out the archived lesson. It's recorded, and as you guys know, whatever comes out of my mouth, whatever comes out of my ukulele, it's stuck on video forever. A lot of the other ukulele teachers out there will, they pre-record everything and then they can go through and edit it and make it all beautiful and perfect for you. That's not me. I don't have any time. I don't have any time to worry about perfection. I got to get on to the next thing. And so it is what it is, and we move on. The other things on that page, the ukulele tab on jollyrogerukulele.com will help those of you guys that are newer to go down in proper order so that the easy stuff is at the top and the easier stuff is at the top and the harder stuff is toward the bottom. So you just follow that list down. And that's what we're in the process of doing right now. We're on day 3 of what I think is about a 15 or 20 day cycle. And so we start with Frere Jacques, and then we go to Soft Kitty, and then we do today's lesson and so on. So it goes all the way down that list. It's a way for you to keep it in order. If you're a teacher of ukulele, that would be something that I would research pretty carefully to see if it will help you with your classes. And then what else is on the website? Stuff about baritone, stuff for teachers, stuff for subscribing to the ukulele, to that website. It is probably a shockingly good deal. Sometimes people say I don't charge enough. I don't know, probably don't. But the idea is that I want it to be cheap and easy for you to get involved. Right now, there are 69 pieces of really fine, top quality musical arrangements on that website, and I'd love for you to just subscribe and become a part of it. And then on the members page, I'm sneaking in arrangements from time to time of nicer stuff that I'm not necessarily going to put out for the public to see. And so hopefully that page alone should keep you busy with ukulele for the next 2 years easy. So that's also on there. And then of course, email me on the contact page if you have questions or whatever. Here on YouTube, if you will subscribe, it makes your life a little easier. If you log in, you can subscribe, and then you can also chat, and then you can like things. You can give me a thumbs up, and apparently I get to go on a date with Kim Kardashian, whoever she is, if I get enough thumbs up. So that's what we're working on. All right, let's move on to Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, and let's talk about the butcher knife I'm going to take to this thing, and what's going to be great. Let's see, my spelling. Nope, you're spelling it wrong. Oh, good. As is my French. I know my French. It's getting a long time since I was in college, and my French is. I know crossword puzzle French. That's all I'm left with. Let's see, Jane. Let's see. Hey, Lanny, welcome in, Jane. Got it. You got it. Thank you, Karen. I love this arpeggio picking clawing. Thank you. Good. And Kat's in. She's ready to knock you. Kim Kardashian. I think she's the one that's married to Kanye West, right? And I think that he's isn't he the one that's a total piece of work? All right. I knock music. By the way, if there were any teenagers in the room, they're all gone now. They're like, that guy doesn't know who Kanye West is. We're out. I think I know who he is. I know he was mean to Taylor Swift. That's what I know. And I like Taylor Swift. My goddaughter and I, when she was in her 8 or 9 years old and we was learning ukulele, we did so many Taylor Swift songs together. It was a blast. So Taylor Swift and I, we're tight. All right, Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik. Page 1 is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We're going to work on that a little bit today. Hopefully that's coming together pretty smoothly for you. Page 2 is the main theme from Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, and we're going to keep that exactly as written. I don't see anything wrong with page 2. We're going to hold on to that. So I want you to be practicing that. Nothing will change about that whatsoever. Page 3, Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, main theme ends at measure 40, and then we're going to do a repeat there, and we're going to go back up to measure 13, right? Is it 13? Yeah, 14, measure 14. So that section we're going to play twice. I for sure am going to delete measures 41 through 68. And the reason is they're kind of the opposite of what I like to do. I want you to have a really strong melody with some decent chords so that you can sound amazing on the ukulele and have a lot of fun. The melody holds it together really strongly. It turns out, oddly enough, that the melody that's running from the second part of Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik is not near as strong as the intro. And so it feels like you're kind of going around just hitting a bunch of notes. And I worked on it pretty hard today, and I just decided, you know what, it's more work than I really want you guys to have to go through. So if you want to keep it, you want to keep working on it, you like it, go ahead and hang on to this version, but I'm going to post an updated version today, and those measures will be gone. Okay. Measure 68 through measure 84. Those are going to stay exactly as they are. And then measures 85 to the end are going to stay, and they're going to stay exactly as they are. Now, when I delete that middle section, the measure numbers are going to change. So when we do the concert on Friday, you're going to want to have the most updated version of it. But you may want to keep this version as well if you decide, you know what, I'd like to do that section that Gary's about to nuke. I don't think it's necessary for you to worry about it. We got a lot more music coming in line. And so I used to sort of be this archivist of all possible ukulele things, and I ended up with stacks and stacks of paper I was never actually going to look at. So you don't need to be that way. Music's going to come and go. You're going to work on this song this way this week, and 6 weeks from now you're going to work on it a different way, and 6 years from now you're going to work on it again in a different way. And there's not a ton of reason to save all of your little pieces of paper along the way, in my opinion. there's always going to be more sheet music coming your way. So no reason to fall in love with any one piece particularly. Just know I'm going to delete 41 through 68-ish. Now, the problem that I'll have is measure 40 ends on a D7 and measure 69 starts with an F, and they don't get along so well. So I'll have to do I'll do one measure of transitional notes to make it sound cool. And so what we'll end up with is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, very strong melody. The opening section of Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, very strong melody, world classic, right? And then we're going to go to measure, and then we will go on to the Oscar Mayer Wiener part of this, which is another world classic and very cool, awesome melody that you will not be able to get out of your head. And then we will go on to the Oscar Mayer song at the end, which is another very strong melody. So we'll have 4 strong melodies. It'll all flow together as one thing. Our goal for with us as a community is, are we a community now? I think maybe we are. I think we're a global community. I like that idea. Our plan is to play it as classically as possible. And so you're really going to be focusing in on trying to play the whole thing with your claw. Can you play it with your thumb? Heck yeah. But for the most part, I'd love for you to begin work on grabbing the claw like this and just really working your way through that kind of long process of just getting comfortable playing this way. If you end up playing the whole thing with your thumb, that's okay, right? No, the thumb police will not come and fire and throw you in jail. But what we want to do is get you comfortable playing it this way. And it sounds a little more classical. It sounds a little more like classical guitar when you play it this way. If you watch classical guitar videos, 95% of it, everything they do is in this claw position. Occasionally they'll toss in a strum, but very rarely. This is where you live as a classical guitar player. And so I think since we're doing classical music, let's take a classical approach to this. And as much as you can, use your claw on this. Okay. There are no lyrics except for there are tons of lyrics in here, right? There are no lyrics for the Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik section. So you can't. So if you have to help yourself along through there, you can hum the overall melody. Let's see. So I want to go through each of the sections. And if you're newer, I'm going to give you some advice on how I would approach it if I were a newer player. And then those of you guys who have been around a while, you kind of know we're going to be talking tough uke is what we're going to be talking. So let's see some stuff going on over here. Those are Mozart noodles, connective tissue. Yeah, I know, right? I'm all worried about offending Mozart. He's fine. He's fine. He's doing okay. His royalties are still rolling in. He's just doing just fine. We don't need to worry about our reverence for his brilliance, right? He's fine. Too many. Joy is right. It's just too dang many notes. Baroque music and classical music. It is too many notes. Let's see. Of course, we can't delete the hot. No, we will not delete the hot dog. Welcome in, Linda. Let's see. Can you go over clawing as I can't hit all the chords? Okay, I mean strings. Yeah. So claw. Okay. Let's grab the first chord as a G chord on this song. Twinkle, Twinkle. First, that's your G chord. By the way, we're going to use Brandon as our poster child on this one. It is so easy to accidentally get your G chord upside down, to put your middle finger here, your index finger here, and your ring finger here, because I have you holding the ukulele properly now, and that feels super comfy, right? But I can't have you do that. Index finger on top, middle finger on bottom, ring finger here. That's how you have to hold it. It's less comfy than the way some of you want to hold it, but because we have lots of chords that are related to this chord that are going to come up next, we can't have this upside down, because all of a sudden you're going to be in this process of having to loop it over to get to the other correctly fingered chords, and it just won't work. Okay, so let's get your G chord on. Now, to Phyllis's question, can we cover the claw a little bit better? And so that's what we're going to do. So in the claw position, you have this finger. This finger's for nothing. This is for show. Okay, you can put our local football team is the Broncos. You can put your Bronco sticker on here. Okay, and then people will think you're okay. And a lot of times you'll see me when I'm playing, my pinky will end up actually holding the ukulele underneath the crook of the crotchet, I think that's called. It's not ideal, but you'll see me doing it sometimes. Mostly I'd like that pinky just to hang out there. Now, your next 4 strings, I'm going to try to get the light on here correctly. Thumb on the top string, index on the underneath the third string, middle finger underneath the second string, and ring finger underneath the first string. Okay. Now, several things that are notable about this. Each finger, thumb, index, middle, ring, has one string. Everybody has one string. Don't accidentally use, it's very common for you to take your thumb and your index finger and grab the same string. You don't want that. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Okay, there's that. Okay, and then you should be able, when you collapse your knuckles, all four strings ring at once. The other thing I see an awful lot of is people will stack them up in a line like this. Well, now when you do it, you can't really pluck it very cleanly. It just is, everybody hits everybody else, everybody's in the way. So you take this and you just put it at an angle like this. Okay, that is good for your claw plucking. 1, 2, 3. It's also great for arpeggio picking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is just general guidance. If you decide, you know what, I'm not hardly going to use that top string, maybe I'll just use these three strings and those three fingers. Pluck, pluck, pluck. Or sometimes I might use this top string in the bottom too. Pluck, pluck, pluck. Sometimes you might use outers and inners, right? And then I'd probably do that. Done, done. But be a little adventurous as to when you come up to a piece of music, what's going to be the best way for me to grab all these strings and plug it. I will tell you on this particular piece of music, grabbing all four is going to make the most sense because we're going to be playing a lot of index finger on the third string here. Okay, so that should give you a basic sense of how your hand goes on here as a claw. The claw is great for multiple strings as well as individual strings, and then you can kind of hang out here, right? And I think the nice part about this is that you don't have to leave it here, but this is going to be safe a lot of the times. And again, a lot of times you'll see me, I'll grab the third, second, and first strings and ignore this top string altogether. Now, you really can't do that on this arrangement because we have lots of notes on that fourth string, okay? We can change our minds with practice. I walked around all day holding that. Poor Brandon, he's walking around trying to do his work, right, with his ukulele. Okay, let's see. Big clue for me. Under. Oh, yeah, under. Oh, okay. So if you are, yeah, so I have actually had that often where people will try to put everybody on top and then try to push down, right? So don't do that. Top one's on top, thumb is on top, all the others are underneath, and they're going to come up. Okay, okay, okay. All right. It's more complicated than you'd think, right? Okay, that's why you're here. Hopefully, get smarter at that kind of stuff. Okay, once you get it, then you're fine for the rest of your life. Okay, all right. So the first measure is going to be G chord, and if you're new, that's plenty. Grab your G chord if you can, and twinkle, twinkle, and then you're going to go to the C chord. You pluck it twice, little, and then back to the G chord. Star. Go to your D7. Actually, you pluck that twice. Star. You keep your 4-beat pattern even if there's no note there. So it's twinkle, twinkle, little star, pluck. How I wonder what you are. Okay, so you're going to keep this hand going steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. No matter what happens, 4 beats. Some chords you're only going to do them for 2 beats, and other chords you're going to do them for 4 beats, but you're going to do something every single beat. Let's sing through it real quick. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, I got those 3 D7s that showed up with guitar grids randomly for some unknown reason. I'll get those fixed today as well. Okay, so that's the claw shape. If you are thinking, I'm the next level player, I'm going to be doing arpeggio picking, I might drop down to just use 3 and do thumb, index, middle, ring, which is going to sound like twinkle, 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 little star, how I wonder what you are. Doesn't that sound more sophisticated? Like, yeah, I really know what I'm talking about. Okay, I haven't changed anything except I'm doing something smarter with my right hand. Okay, so there's that. Next level players, you guys, most of you, this is probably plenty, right? Is to do the ukulele melody line. For most of you, just playing the straight melody line with me in time is plenty, and you should not feel like that's somehow less important than tough uke. I'm going to play tough uke. You want to play tough uke in the end, but in the meantime, as you're getting your skills up to speed, just playing straight line tablature is so critically important for your success as an instrumentalist. Okay, let's play the ukulele melody line. Again, one note at a time. You're probably going to pluck this with your thumb, but if you are setting up for your claw and you want to practice doing that, absolutely, absolutely fine. That's that next level skill that we always try to be pushing on, just pushing up against the ceiling of how good you are. All right, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5. 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 3. 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 2, 0. 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 2, 0. 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5. 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 3. Okay, I want to do it one more time, and I want to do it with claw position. So if you're trying to do that, and that can get messy, right? It can get really messy. So give it a try. Grab your claw position, but just play the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5. 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 3. 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 2, 0. 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 2, 0. 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 5. 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 3. Okay. Now, let's talk about playing with your claw when you're playing straight line melody. I tend not to do that if I'm just going to play the straight line melody, because look what ended up happening. I spent almost all the time on that first string. Most important string is your first string. Worst finger you got is the ring finger. And guess who was having to do all the work? So it's good practice for him. It's good opportunity for him to say, oh, God, I am going to have to do something in life. You know, he's been hanging around the middle finger his whole life, and he's really sort of been taking a free ride. And now all of a sudden you're making him be the most important finger on your hand. It's maybe not the best thing for a final presentation. You probably want to think thumb when you're playing a straight line melody, but it's also really great practice to just get your ring finger and your middle finger plucking at the right possible moments. Okay. Marilyn, explain what tablature is. So Marilyn, the tablature line, it tells you what string to play on, and it's upside down. So you're going to hold your ukulele up to that line. Those 4 lines are your 4 strings. And then the number on that line tells you which fret to hold down. So in this case, you've got 3, 3, and then you got 5, 5. And so 3, 3, and then 5, 5. So it tells you what fret to hold down on which string. My suggestion would be to go to the archive on Jolly Roger Ukulele, back up 2 days, and look for the lesson on Frere Jacques. Okay. The other place you can go is on the ukulele tab and go down to Frere Jacques. And I've got 2 videos on there that explain exactly how to play tablature. Once you learn Frere Jacques, then all this starts to make sense. Now, playing it at speed takes a while, right, guys? But you'll at least know what you're supposed to do. And so that would be where I'd start, Marilyn, is go take a look at Frere Jacques. I think that will help in more detail than I can give you right at this moment. Okay. All right. So we've played through that a couple of different ways. One was with just thumb, one was with this. Maybe you played it through the same way both times. Whatever is working for you. The question is, at the speeds I was playing, is that getting comfortable? Sometimes when you're new, keeping up is really, really challenging. Sometimes when you've been around for a while, you're like, ugh, Gary, go on to something else. So we're trying to hit that sweet spot where we get a little bit of everybody kind of moving you up into that space. I know for a fact, in my orchestra, if I had to get off the podium as the conductor and go sit down with those guys and play straight line melody with them, I would have a struggle right off the bat because we play kind of complex melodies kind of fast, and it's something that to take, you got to be down there, you got to be in the trenches, you got to be doing it. And so every single day when you open up your book, take a minute to run through some of these songs we've already done and just play melody, just get where you're really, really smooth at it. Even now when I see sevens and nines and eights and 10 show up, I'm like, oh God, I'm probably going to miss them. Right. And so I have to sit down and really think about what positional playing do I want to get to make those successful. And so just know playing melody is a highly underrated skill. Just sit down and every day practice a little bit of just playing straight melody. Try to play it as fast as you can. Now let's go on to the tough uke section of this. Okay, and guys, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. We played it yesterday. Hopefully some of it's making sense. Let's just play it through one time down through measure 12 and see how you're doing. Okay, play along with me. Notice what I grab right off the bat. I got my chord on this hand. I got my claw on this hand. I'm ready to play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Repeat it from there. Okay, so then we're going to go back to the top next on Friday when we have concert. Okay, so your job, if you're tough uking, is to play along with me. I think I sped up through that whole thing, which I hate the fact that that's what happens in instrumental music, especially when you're all eighth notes. You have this tendency to get faster and faster and faster. And so by the time I got to the bottom, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm playing too fast, and I'm more likely to make mistakes. Okay, so at concert on Friday, we'll play through this through measure 12. We'll go back up. We'll play again. And we skip measure 12 as we come down and play 13. Okay, next, measures 14 through 40. Let's take our time to talk about this. If you're not playing tough uke, which is 100% fine, you're trying to match my speed with possibly playing the chord, okay, or playing the chord, whichever works for you, or you're playing along straight melody with me, whatever. When we get to playing together as a group, you pick a system that's going to work for you at that time. Obviously, in my heart, I know that I want you playing tough uke all of the time because I know that's where the beauty and the skill and the highest level of work you can do. But I'm 100% fine with you also being like, I'm not quite ready for that. I'd like to go to the different level to play along. Linda says, hey, can we practice that a little slower? Let's do it one more time, through a little bit slower. And with the claw, hard for me to get nice and loud, clean sound with ring finger on a string where most of the melody is suggestions. So getting clean, pretty sound, that's a long-term project with the claw. I will tell you two things. Please, please, please never worry about playing loud. That comes with time. But if you had to play loud, you get a ukulele with a digital with pickup in it, and you put it through an amplifier. The worst thing that musicians can do is try to force loudness. Especially guitar and ukulele players are always trying to play louder because you can't hear the thing, and the decision isn't to start pounding on your instrument. The decision is to get an amplifier. Then you can continue to play beautiful at the right possible technique and all the right possible tone, and let the amplifier make you louder. So don't try to be louder. That's one of the things I think is important. What is most important is be smooth and toneful and as beautiful as you possibly can. Your thumb is for sure going to be louder than your index finger almost always. Okay. In the beginning, though, be okay with playing quiet, right? Remember, you were not okay with having crummy B flats, and I said, yeah, have a crummy B flat. It's fine, because one day it's not crummy. Same thing with playing in the claw loudly is that you start off with, and then you get louder. But my thought is never to play as loud as I can on an unaccompanied instrument like this, because I'm going to make the tone's going to go down real fast. So getting an amplifier, if you think you're going to need to play, in front of the church or something, or a community group, or you're going to go give a demonstration of how awesome you are on ukulele, you're probably for sure going to have to plug in those situations. And it's not a bad idea to start putting a little bit of mind toward that, in terms of what would it take for me to play loud in front of an audience. As you know, right now I have a microphone sitting right here pointed at this, and at home you can adjust me to whatever temperature you need to make me loud enough. That's how we get louder. Okay, possibly you don't need to get a pickup in your ukulele, maybe just a microphone sitting right in front of your sound hole. That'll help you be louder. Yeah, what can I need an amplifier. Mixed blessing with amplifiers. It also amplifies all your mistakes, just to let you know. Okay, let's play the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star section one more time, a little bit slower, and then we'll run through the Nachtmusik section. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Repeat. Okay, so now that should give you plenty of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to work on. Use the MP3 on the website, download it into your phone, slow it down using one of those tempo slow apps, and then play along with your phone. That's another way to get practicing on that. Let's get on to Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, measure 14. Get yourself in position. And again, play whatever line makes sense to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. page, and ready, play. That's a toughie. That's a tough one. Okay, I was really rough in the beginning. I got a little better through the middle, and then those last four measures are pretty tough. Let's play it one more time. Okay, I'm going to run you over just a little bit today. Okay, if you got to go, you got to go. Don't got to go. Just call in sick. Here we go from the top. From measure 14. One more time. Game face. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change the page and go. Okay, that's what you're after. That's a really, really tough go. If it's too tough, go to play melody. If that's too tough, go play the chords. Okay, and so hopefully, I'm gonna clean that up and get that reposted for you guys today. So come back later on this evening, and I'll change the date on it so that you know you have the correct version. Then we'll cut out the rest of this. The hot dog songs down below are not near as tough, right? But you still want to play them in the classical position if you can, and then the whole thing will sound very Mozarty, even though half of it's Mozart and half of it is pure nonsense. And those people who are older will be like, I know what you did. I know, and they'll be all proud of you. They'll be proud of themselves if they found out. And people who don't either know Mozart or aren't old enough to remember those old hot dog songs, they will just sit and very politely think you're playing classical music, and it'll be, and you'll have a secret over on them. So hopefully all of that's coming together. I know that this is a tough piece. Part of it's super easy, part of it's super tough. Find your happy spot in it, and don't worry about being perfect on it by any means. This is a song that, like you can see me struggling, and I've been playing this quite a bit over the last few days, and so there's a lot of stuff stuff here that needs to be smoothed out and cleaned up and all that stuff. I'm going to get my act together by Friday. You should be working on getting your act together by Friday. Tomorrow, please come back. Don't quit ukulele yet. Tomorrow we'll spend one more time just running through it, and tomorrow we get to learn what the heck a C major scale is. And it's actually sort of helpful, guys, as musicians to understand what a scale is. It's not as helpful as people with musical training would like you to believe, but it's pretty helpful, and it'll help you understand what notes go together and how all that fits, how all of it fits together into a thing that once you learn how to play music on a ukulele, you can play any instrument. That's what's kind of exciting. So, all right, it looks like Joyce already hit out. See you tomorrow, Marie. Have a great night. Fran, let's see, I didn't think I would ever be playing Mozart. No, I'm still not playing Mozart on my ukulele, but I'm gonna. Yeah, we're gonna play Mozart on ukulele on Friday. So be working on it, guys. All right, thanks, Fran. Renee, see you tomorrow, Renee. Have a great night. Lindy, let's see, Lindy. These are much easier for me to play on my concert. I think I'm learning something about my range. Yeah. So again, some ukuleles are too big and some are too small, and you got to find your best spot. So good to hear that. Carol, good to see you. Have a great day. Brandon, have a great night. Linda, see you tomorrow. Patty, all right. Give Tom a hug. Tell him I love him. Lindy, we'll see you tomorrow. Phyllis, until tomorrow, enjoy your evening. You bet. Have a good night. Karen, glad you came back. Keep coming. Gail, see you tomorrow. Gail, Sandy, mañana. I said Minnesota yesterday. I meant Michigan. Chris, have a great night. Kathy, lots of fun. Grandkids will love hearing Baba and Twinkle. Yeah, right. Heck yeah. Woohoo, Amadeus. We're gonna get him. We're gonna make him so famous again. Cindy, have a great night. Barbara, good to see you. Linda number 3, will you show up on time? What the heck are you doing out there living your life in Sonoma? Have a great night, you guys. I will see all of you hopefully tomorrow. Tell your friends. We got things going here that's awesome. Have a great night. I'm going to hit end stream.